Hey guys, what is cracking? It is Krakenation here, and I'm really excited to be coming back to you and bringing guys some videos. It has been a hot minute, so I hope you guys are all doing well, holding out. It's been a tough time. It's been a tough year for everyone. Hopefully you guys are excited about these Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl games as much as I am. That said, we're going to be bringing you guys some ways that Nintendo could hopefully, breathe some life into these old Pokemon that they have been now with Gen 4 remakes, are going to be on the spotlight of the Pokemon world for a little bit once again. So now that these Pokemon are coming back, I thought I'd bring you guys this new series to get us hyped, kind of evaluating, what these Pokemon were back in the day and how maybe we can see them even become even better than they used to be in the Gen 4 remakes. What Nintendo could maybe do, give them that little freshen up, that little snip off the top, that little, fresh dew, give them that little extra punch and maybe make them more competitively viable moving forward. Because here on this channel, the Krakenation channel, that is what we all are about. What are you bringing to the competitive table? So what better Pokemon place to start that off than with Infernape, the Fire-type starter. As you know, if you chose Chimchar in the Sinnoh region, Infernape was your starter Pokemon, final evolution, whatever you want to call it. And Infernape, I will say, of all the Gen 4 starters, by far the most competitively viable, has been that way pretty much since its inception. Firefighting is a terrific offensive typing, as we all know, but Infernape is bringing a lot more to the table than that. So this was maybe the toughest video, at least of the starters, that I'm going to have to make, because Infernape is a good Pokemon already. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, it maybe is been power crept on a little bit here and there, and a lot of things have caught up to it over time, but it is still a very, very good Pokemon that's bringing a lot of good stuff to the table. It's got mixed attacking stats, both very viable, can attack you on the physical or the special side, and it's got the coverage moves on both sides to use it. Furthermore, it's got really decent speed. Not terrific nowadays. Back then it was a lot better than it is in 2021. Where everything in its mother is, blazing through the metagame. But Infernape still has a pretty decent speed stat. It also has access to a lot of great utility moves. It has access to recovery in the form of Slack Off, Stealth Rocks, Set Hazards, great priority moves. Pretty sure it gets Taunt too, gets Stealth Hazards, U-Turn as well. It's just bringing a lot to the table. Infernape has always been this kind of jack of all trades, master of none Pokemon, and that makes it really easy to fit into a wide variety of metas that are looking for, you need fast offense, Infernape's got you covered. You need utility, Infernape's got you covered. You need pivot, Infernape's got you covered. And it even has setup options between Swords Dance and Nasty Plot. So Infernape is bringing a whole lot to the table. And today we're going to see what we can bring to the table for Infernape. So first up, while I have kind of hyped up Infernape a lot to start this video, it would be unfair to say that Infernape is the perfect Pokemon, right? So we got to take a look at, if we're going to figure out what is going to make Infernape better, we got to figure out what makes Infernape fall short now. So let's take a look at Infernape's checks and counters. First up, bulky water types have always been an absolutely terrific counter to Infernape. Just in general, its only coverage to hit these tends to be Thunder Punch or Grass Knot. Grass Knot's pretty unreliable in most contexts, so you'll find, something like Rotom Wash, for example, just walls the crap out of Infernape because, Grass Knot isn't hitting it very hard. So that's going to tend to be an issue for Infernape in your average match. Furthermore, even if it's running physical moves like Thunder Punch to hit bulky waters, Thunder Punch is a pretty weak move. Now, Infernape does get Iron Fist, but a lot of bulky waters can still easily, take that and then recover off the damage with whatever recovery move they hopefully have access to. And then, because you're not actually doing that much damage, to even 2-hit KO a lot of bulky waters with those moves, they can come in, recover off damage, click Scald, and just either outright KO or at least really heavily cripple Infernape. So that is something you're going to have to be wary of. Furthermore, bulky Psychics, in a lot of similar ways, are going to be a big issue for Infernape. They don't resist fire coverage, they obviously resist the fighting stab instead, but in a similar vein, a lot of bulky Psychics just don't really fear anything from Infernape. Now, Infernape does usefully get a lot of ways to actually play around these things. Like I said, Grass Knot and Thunder Punch allow it to kind of work with water sometimes. Bulky Psychic types, they come in, but maybe you can click a really powerful Flare Blitz on them, or worst comes to worst, you can always just U-turn out. Most bulky Psychics are going to be a little slower than you, so you can just U-turn on out of there. Obviously, some bulky Psychics are a little fast, so you're looking at things like maybe Latias, but in general, you'll be able to U-turn out of bulky Psychic types pretty effectively. But still, obviously, if you can kill what's in front of you, it's better to do that generally than to pivot out. So if it can get a way to beat them outright, that would be pretty terrific. Bulky ground types, again, similar vein, you kind of might see a theme here. Just really common bulky defensive typings tend to be an issue for Infernape. if its stab moves don't give it the oomph to punch through it. So ground types tend to be the exact same problem. Now obviously they don't resist either of its stabs, but a bulky ground type can usually stomach a few hits, like maybe like a Hippowdon, and then click Earthquake and absolutely ruin your day. So you got to be careful. The final thing I want to talk about is faster Pokemon. Like I said earlier, I touched upon this. Infernape once upon a time was blazing fast, but these days it is not quite that. 108 speed is still very good, but not the 180 something we see with Regieleki, or 130s that are running everywhere nowadays with the Tapu Koko or whatever. So we got to be extra careful that Infernape's got the tools it needs to beat these slightly faster Pokemon. So let's take a look at some moves we can potentially run to beat these bulkier Pokemon at least. And the best move I think that would instantly make Infernape see just a ton more play is Energy Ball. Energy Ball, if you don't know, it's a 90 base power, 100% accuracy special grass move. It's a terrific move. It's the go-to special grass coverage for most special attacking grass types. And I think it would be a move that makes sense on Infernape. It's a Pokemon that's got a lot of energy, right? It's got this kind of like aura thing going about it. It's a fighting type too. We've seen Energy Ball be a really good coverage move on a lot of other Pokemon. It really helps with these bulky bulky waters that Infernape would really be struggling with. And because of that, I think this would be maybe the go-to no-brainer. So I really think Energy Ball would be the way to go for Infernape. It allows it to reliably hit both waters and ground types. So we're beating two birds, one stone with both ground and water types. Furthermore, Infernape does get Nasty Plot, so this would be a great move. You could run your fire coverage, your fighting coverage, and then finally you get to run Energy Ball and just beat up on the types that think they can switch into you, and that's pretty absolutely destructive if you get Nasty Plot on the 4th move slot there. So that's going to be really, really powerful. I think Energy Ball is a no-brainer, and it also makes sense. With a lot of these moves that I'm going to suggest for these Pokemon, I want it to be a move that I think makes sense on that Pokemon. I'm not going to give Infernape like Hydro Pump to beat ground types, because that makes no sense. But I think Infernape could learn Energy Ball. I could see that happening. It would make sense to me, and I think it would make it a lot more competitive. We've seen it learn things like Grass Knot. Why not Energy Ball? The next one I want to talk about is a move that I think is just pretty straightforward, and that's Knockoff. If you don't know Knockoff, it's a 65 base power, 100% accuracy physical dark move, but that's not really why you use Knockoff. Obviously, it's a pretty powerful dark move, but its power gets boosted by 50% when you knock off your opponent's item, and furthermore, it also removes their item. So that's obviously a really, really good way to punish psychic types. You'd be hitting psychic types for almost a 100 base power move whenever you click. I think it's like 97.5 whenever you click Knockoff, and that's going to be already a really devastating move for most of these Pokemon, because they're going to lose their item. They're going to take a 97.5 base power dark move on that first hit, and then probably the next Knockoff, if you really wanted, or maybe a powerful Flare Blitz or something, could easily clean up that psychic type. Furthermore, obviously, it's an easy to spam move against a wide variety of teams without any drawback. Knockoff is like one of the best moves in competitive Pokemon for a reason. Just no Pokemon wants to lose its item. If you're not sure what your opponent's going to do, Knockoff tends to never be a bad option. So it's easy to spam against a really wide variety of teams. Stall teams, when Suicune, the bulky water, comes in, you click that Knockoff, it's not going to want to lose its leftovers. Now Suicune's got no recovery. Or if playing against a hyper offensive team, they bring in maybe a pivot to try to catch some momentum, you knock off their Scarf or something. Maybe now they're Infernape slower, you can revenge kill. Knockoff is a really good move and would instantly make Infernape so much better. And I have seen no reason why Infernape couldn't learn Knockoff. So I think this is an absolute no-brainer as well. It would just, in another kind of two birds, one stone way, just check off so many boxes for Infernape. The final thing I want to talk about with you guys is going to be Sucker Punch. In a similar vein, Sucker Punch is a dark move. It's a 70 base power, 100% accuracy physical dark move. Now, Sucker Punch is a priority move, so it provides another tool in its powerful priority toolkit to beat faster Pokemon. So that's pretty awesome, I think. It already gets Vacuum Wave and Mach Punch. So now Sucker Punch would be a third priority move, really kind of getting that break point of just a lot of different options you can use to outspeed opposing Pokemon. And that's going to be really powerful. But it's also a dark move, so it's going to be useful coverage against dark types. Against psychic types, excuse me. So you're going to be able to use Sucker Punch in a lot of different ways, again, to beat fast Pokemon. So if your Infernape has Sucker Punch or has the threat of running Sucker Punch, all of a sudden, when your opponent switches into Latias or something, which tends to be a great counter to Infernape, they're going to have to think twice, like, what if this Infernape is running Life Orb Sucker Punch and I'm about to get absolutely dropped? Not only that, but you also already had U-Turn. So now you play these mind games with what if he clicks pivot moves, what if he clicks Sucker Punch, and all of a sudden, this very reliable counter to Infernape becomes really not so reliable and forces a really high skill situation out of your opponent, which obviously those kind of high leverage moments can make or break a Pokemon match. Unfortunately, obviously Sucker Punch fails if your opponent does not click an attacking move, so it is sometimes unreliable. Now, if you're not aware, Sucker Punch only works, it only goes first, it only actually gets its attack off if your opponent clicked an attacking move. So if they click something like Toxic, or maybe Recovery, or something like that, your Sucker Punch will not activate. It won't work, unfortunately. So it is a little bit niche, I admit that, but I think there's a lot of situations where Infernape would really, really benefit from that. Well, guys, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment, rate, subscribe. I'm really excited to be bringing you guys some videos back. I'm so hyped for Gen 4. I think Pokemon Platinum is the best Pokemon game ever made. I absolutely loved Gen 4 back in the day, so I'm really excited to see these Pokemon coming back. I'm going to be tackling the starters so you can look out for those videos in the near future. Make sure to click that notification bell if you want to see those videos when they come out in the near future. But if you guys have any Pokemon that you really want to see me do after that, please let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Krakenation out.